Welcome to Rom Wills Money Matters. Keep at least one credit card for major emergencies. Major emergencies. And when I say major emergencies, like if you live in a home, like if your water heater goes or your heating system goes, keep a credit card for that. Now, real quick with that though, if you're in a home, you're in a major home, you only paying a mortgage, you really should have a separate fund for emergencies anyway. You should. Ultimately that's what you want to work for. You want to work for that. You want to build your savings to that point. But realistically, a lot of people have trouble just building a regular savings, let alone an emergency fund. But ideally, that's what you want. And quite frankly, until you can effectively build that up, and that could take a while, at least have one major credit card for it. Like you always getting some credit card applications. Somebody always sending you something. All right, cool. Keep one. Keep it on ice, even well, you know what? You don't have to literally put it on ice. I've known some people who do that. But keep it. Just you get it and you put it in your can. Like I keep one credit card. It's only way it gets used if there's a major emergency and with your car, with my car or something else. Keep at least one. And that's the only time you could break the rules as far as using only 10%, less than 10% of your credit card, and also paying off the balance right away because you don't know what the emergency could be. Like a common emergency is a car emergency. That's a very common emergency. And, one of the issues with that is a lot of people, unfortunately, like in this country, it's said that 50% of the population couldn't handle a $400 emergency. Now, of course, that's why I talk about the savings and an emergency fund and all that, but it's tough. It's tough. It's tough for a lot of people to even get to that level. The only people can really think seriously about that making some real money, making some big money, They can think about it, but, the average person is tough. But if you can get a credit card whose sole purpose is emergency, and you might not spend any money on it or something. Or, hold up, let me back that up. Depending on the credit card, you might need to buy something tiny just to keep it going. Because sometimes you get some credit card companies, they might, if you don't use something for a long time, they might reduce the credit limit or something. And plus, you also want to build the credit limit. On those, about something like $20 and less, pay it off right away. Just do it. Just do it. Trust me, they want you to spend money, so they'll make it easy for you. But whatever the case, keep that one. If you've been building your credit, you could get a new credit card, like at a minimum $5,000. All right. And maybe spend some little stuff, hit them up for increases, get it to $10,000, $15,000, $20,000. Indeed, one of the things you could do, you could use the methods I say, less than 10%, pay off the balance right away. You get a frequent, get a credit increase when you can. And then maybe just get another credit card and just spend like a little bit on it. Just a little bit every now and then on it to keep it going, right? But have that still being a major emergency. And even then, if you got one of those credit card companies that, once they give you the money, if you don't spend any money on it, they ain't bothered by it, boom. Because that's one of my major credit cards. I go like a year without spending anything on it. Seriously, I literally went a year because I didn't, Ron was following his rules, less than 10% and paying off the balance right away. And just paying cash for stuff. I actually preferred that. But keep it, you need to have one for major emergencies at least. Because seriously, there's many of people who, like I can even see it sometimes, right? Like sometimes if I'm driving along and I see that car with that broken fender, bent fender or something, I was like, damn, they can't fix that. Because see, the thing is, even when you got insurance and insurance is required, most insurances have a deductible. Now, if you got an insurance that don't have a deductible, please share it in the comments. Seriously, please share it in the comments. But something happened. Like I remember years ago, I ran into a deer in Southern Maryland. Ran into a deer. That thing was in heat. That thing was running across traffic on a major road. That thing was flying. He had to get his. But anyway, thankfully, I was able to get it fixed, but I had the 500 right there. Now, of course, that was having the savings. But what if you don't necessarily have that savings like that, but you got the credit card? You can fix it right away. Because it really is sad when I see people with that, because I already know. I know they have to have insurance, but I know they don't even have that 500 just to pay the deductible. So you always want to have it. And that's just one. Like I said, if you have a house or something and say the water furnace goes or, the heating system, or you get a hole in the roof, and you don't have that emergency fund, you can fix that thing. Indeed, in some cases, you can even get a credit line increase depending on the company. You want to have that because the thing is, things happen. Things happen to your car. If you own the house, things happen. You can't call the management company and say, hey, come fix it. It's like, oh, you got to fix it. Like I remember this guy when I was living in the D.C. area, the Fort Washington area. Now, anybody down that way, you got some big houses. Now, I knew a guy, he was a contractor, and he said, yeah, they got these big houses, but they can't fix a hole in the roof. So it's like, oh, wait a minute. But you would just need that. Just have it. And build that up. Like I said, if you got to start with one credit card and just, spend a little bit on it just to keep it going and then qualify for credit line increases. Boom. Because it happens. See, that's the unfortunate thing. Stuff happens and you want to be ready for it. Because you don't want to be in a situation where, something happens to your car, but you worked with that car and then it's making it harder to get to work. Then that creates other problems. Or be in a house where that furnace breaks and you can't fix it. And then you might have to go through a winter with being very cold or go through a summer being very hot. And that makes things uncomfortable. There's so many things. Sometimes even for certain medical issues. If despite the, a lot of people getting medical insurance, everybody doesn't all automatically have it. And even then, sometimes a lot of times you got to pay a deductible. So you want that credit card for at least an emergency that comes up. Now, let me be clear. Ideally, you'll have an emergency fund, a savings fund, ideally, or at least a savings, ideally. And that's what you want to use. That's one of the things you want to use it for, ideally. But I know it's tough. Realistically, it's tough, you might have just enough on your job just to pay the bills and maybe, pay some on the credit card. But, that credit card is right there. And just emergency. Indeed, just hold on to it. You never know. So I want y'all to think about that. And anyway, that's all I have. And in order to pay all of that, let's go make that money.